Good afternoon. Welcome to Durham, North Carolina, on the campus of Duke University at Cameron Indoor Stadium. We have with us today Junior Kennedy Brown, Junior Vanessa DeJesus, and Senior Celeste Taylor. Open for questions. Reminder to mute all your cell phones. And when you ask a question, say your name and affiliation prior to the question. Thank you.
Bob Sutton with the Associated Press. Kennedy, what does it mean to not only get into the tournament but have a home game, and what is there a certain sign of progress for the program as a whole?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is my first time getting to play in the tournament, so I'm excited, to get to play alone. But for us as a team, I think, where we were projected to finish at the beginning of the season versus where we are now has shown a lot of progress and just goes to show all the work that we've put in this season.
Same question to Vanessa, I guess.
Yeah, for myself, again, this is my first year, and it's always been a dream of mine to play in the tournament. So it finally being that time is just a surreal moment. I'm just so excited to finally play here at home.
Marissa Sisker, Hoopstats. Did you guys have any thoughts on the 9:30 tip, or just ready to play?
We'll start with Celeste to answer that question.
Obviously it's a later game than we've played before, but at the end of the day, we have to prepare ourselves to play at any time, especially in this March tournament. So, we've been a little bit practicing a little bit, trying to stay up later and later as the day goes on, but we got to do what we got to do.
Kennedy, you want to answer that question?
Yeah. Coach tried to get us prepared for that, actually. So she moved practice back a little bit, let us sleep in a little more, stay up a little bit later so that we're ready for that 9:30 tip. But again, like C said, got to be ready for anything. And so we will be.
Kelly Gramlich with ESPN, and we're excited to be here calling this game. How, for all three of you, I guess, but that last game in the ACC tournament, you beat North Carolina, then go up against Virginia Tech team who's just red hot, but the offense wasn't really there for you guys in that game. So what's been the main focus since the Virginia Tech loss to kind of put that beside you and then look forward to the tournament?
We'll start with Vanessa with that question.
Yeah, for us, we went back to the film and we just took it as a learning lesson and getting better every day. So just emphasizing the importance, like you said, offensively, executing on that, and again, defensively, which is something that got us here so far. So just focusing on those details, I think, will help us moving forward.
Celeste, do you want to add anything?
Basically what V said, but, we've tend to bounce back when we've had some tough losses, so I think it kind of put us in a pretty good position. It did suck to lose and for things to not go the way we wanted to, but we've done pretty good at bouncing back. So like V said, just going back to the drawing board and fixing the things that we need to work on. Obviously, we had a tough offensive game, but at the end of the day, we know we have really, really good offensive players on our teams, and we have faith and confidence in each and every one of us and each other, and so we're just going to go out there and play and do what we've seen each other do all season long.
Celeste, without being in the tournament last year, what were you doing during this time, and does that seem awkward to you? And I guess it's a sign of progress that you're back in this thing.
Yeah, for sure. Last year we went right back to workouts. We didn't know really what was going to happen. We were waiting for that selection show to come out and to actually see. But we just went to work. Honestly, we worked on the things that we individually needed to work on as individuals. A lot of it was just being more consistent. We had a lot of new players, so just getting acclimated to the system still, because the year that we had was pretty rough, especially losing people to COVID and injury. So we had a pretty rough year, but just going back and then bringing in some really, really great players and gelling with them and working with them and seeing what we could do for the next year. I had been able to play in the tournament the year before that, so I was kind of upset that we didn't get to be in it last year, but to come back and not be in the tournament to be a 3 seed, I think that's a really great jump, a really great sign of a progression in a program, and the coaching staff and the players that we brought in. So I'm really excited to be able to play in March.
Celeste, what does it mean for you to be one of the top 4 finalists for National Defensive Player of the Year? And then if Vanessa or Kennedy could add, what do you think makes Celeste such a great defender?
I mean, honestly, since I was young, I've always fell on defense. I was always just really athletic, so it kind of helped me. And then as I got older, I was able to read more things differently and figure out the players I'm playing against as far as going deep into scouting and seeing how I have to scout certain players and what they do and their tendencies. But it honestly means a lot to me. I mean, I couldn't have done it without them, honestly, because when you have a back line like Ken and you have other guards around you that you know are going to have your back if something goes wrong, it makes it that much easier to be aggressive and be in those passing lanes and pressure the players that you're playing against. And so I'm really grateful for my teammates and the staff as well for putting me in that position.
Kennedy, do you want to talk about what it's like playing against Celeste at practice?
Well, thankfully for me, she doesn't really guard me. But if I had to choose one word to describe CT, it would be relentless on the defensive end. I think, she's pressuring the ball. You may think she's out of a play. She'll come from behind and block it. And it's like, where did she come from? You never know. And so I think you always have to be ready. And when she is guarding you, again, I do not have to do that. So, but she's also just a great communicator, great leader on that end, both ends of the floor. But she makes it easy. When there are mistakes, she's flying around, helping everyone out. So I think just, relentless.
Vanessa, as a guard, can you talk about Celeste?
Yeah, it's always a challenge against Celeste, not going to lie. She's always, like Kennedy said, relentless. And I think just her understanding of, the game overall, I think that's what separates her as a defender. Again, knowing tendencies, knowing the game. And, again, I'm going to miss her next year, but I'm not going to miss having her guarding me for sure.
Hi, this is for all of you. It might be a two-parter depending on your answers, but how has Coach Lawson changed this week coming into, the preparation for this tournament?
We'll start with Vanessa with this question.
Yeah, again, we didn't finish the ACC tournament as we wanted to, so just going back to the drawing boards and fixing what needed to be fixed. I think at the end of the day, we've all this whole year wanted to get here and get for this moment and just really want to show what we got. So it's been a long time coming, but I think having the moment now and it being finally this time, it's something we're just really excited for and something, we've been waiting for since the beginning of the year.
Kennedy?
I wouldn't really say she's changed at all. I think we've prepared for each game, the same way. We don't take any matchup lightly. So I think the coaches, the preparation they do, it's always the same. It's always, they have a standard for how they prepare for each game. And so I don't think that's changed at all. After the ACC, we kind of went back and focused more on ourselves, which was good to kind of have that time, like they mentioned earlier. But, we've prepared for every game the same, I think, this year.
Celeste, you want to round out your thoughts?
Yeah, similar to Kennedy, nothing's really has changed. I think the only thing would be the urgency because now you're one and you're done. You lose and you go home. So, everything, it's not that we didn't give everything we had in prior games, but I think on every team and on every staff and every program, when March comes around, your urgency just goes up because once you lose, you're out. So we've been trying to just work on that. But like Ken said, staying focused on our opponent that's right in front of us and doing what we need to do to win and to continue to play in March.
Just as a follow to that, if each one of you could tell me what has been, whether it was a pregame speech or, an individual meeting with her, what has been kind of the most inspirational kind of message that Coach Lawson has passed on to you?
We'll start with Celeste and then Vanessa and then Kennedy.
There have been a few, but I think her overall confidence in each and every one of her players, and I guess I'll speak for me individually, just the confidence that she has in me to go out there and perform. She sees the work that we put in before practice, after practice, the extra work when we come into the gym. Like, she sees all that, and she knows that she's putting out a good group, a good team in general, to go out there and perform. So for me, it would be the confidence that she has in all of us.
For me, I'd probably say her speech about like handling hard better. Again, like since last year, it was definitely a hard year, just not having the outcome we wanted. But instead of getting into ourselves, getting into our heads, we instead turned it around and use that as a way to like get better and to learn from that. So I think just understanding that although things might not turn out the way we wanted to, just understanding how to learn from that and handle it better and come out stronger from that is something that's very important. Something I really learned from.
I don't know if there's one specific moment, but I think just this is obviously my first year in this program, and so getting to learn from her this year, and I think her position as being someone who played in this tournament, 4 times, it's a really unique perspective, I think, and so being able to just learn from her, almost as like a player coach perspective, she sees things differently, I think, and so that's been really just I think fun for me to get to learn from her that way, and so I just look forward to learning from her more.
Hi, Sam Ravitch, ESPN. Any one of you can answer this, but what have you guys learned as far as the scout video? Anything you guys have noticed from Iona? Anything you're going to be keying in on or focusing on for this game?
Celeste?
I think obviously they're a basketball team, a really great basketball team that has won their conference. We know that they're really good on three-point line. So at the end of the day, we just got to play our defense. It's kind of hard for teams to match up against us the first time because they don't know the pressure of defense that we play. But we're going out there like every other game and just applying pressure in every way we can. I mean, obviously they're really great at shooting the three, but there's a whole bunch of other ways to get around that, and so we just need to be prepared for everything. But I think right now it's just the three-point line with them because we know how well they can shoot the ball.
Anything else for the student athletes? Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Good luck.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Joining us is Duke head coach in her 3rd season at Duke, Kara Lawson. We will open it to questions. Please reminder to state your name and affiliation prior to the question.
Bob Sutton with the Associated Press. Kara, getting to the tournament and then actually being a host as well, what's the importance of that, not only for this year, but maybe for the big picture?
I mean, I've never been to the tournament before as a coach, so I can't say whether it's better or worse. I would assume it's better to host than not host as a coach. I would assume our players are more comfortable being here, but you'd have to ask them. And for us, to play in front of our fans is definitely a benefit. You know, like I said, I don't know. I've not been here before, so.
Maybe more so than hosting, but to be kind of considered one of the top 16 teams this year, and that, you know, that at least gives you maybe some status. I know it doesn't mean anything when the ball's thrown up tomorrow night, but just what does that mean in general?
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt I'm proud of the team and the strides we made this year. I mean, we finished 10th in our league last year, and this year we finished 2nd. That's hard to do in any league, let alone the ACC. So we've improved a lot, and we've grown. And, you know, I thought, you know, the committee recognized that, the strength of our consistency, I think, more than anything this year. You know, we were consistent with our performances throughout, and won some tough games, lost some tough games, but this group was really focused and in it until the end, and I'm proud of their endurance and their ability to take each game with the amount of respect that it demands.
Hey, Coach. Kelly Gramlich, ESPN. We were talking with your players about that Virginia Tech loss and kind of finishing the ACC tournament that way, and they kept saying we've been focusing on ourselves this week. So if you can kind of elaborate on that for me, what have you guys really been focusing on for this week heading into the tournament?
Yeah, I think just cleaning some things up. I think it's pretty natural that there's slippage through the course of the season. I mean, we went 8 straight weeks playing 2 games a week. We didn't have a bye the last 16 games of the season. So what that means is there's very little time to focus on yourself. Most of the time you're focusing on the next opponent. And I thought our team did a good job of that, focusing on the next opponent every week. And so it's been good to have a couple weeks to work on just cleaning some things up. Just foundationally, you know, they're small things. They'd probably be pretty boring to most people, whether it's like angles or timing, you know, things like that. You know, we're not going to put in a new offense and a new defense in 2 weeks. We're going to be who we are in the tournament, but there's definitely some things that you can try and make more efficient, and that's what we did.
Hi, Carrie. C.L. Brown with the Raleigh News and Observer. You've had some speeches, kind of motivational messages to your team before that have, you know, gone viral. And
you're not going to ask me to give one right now, are you?
No. But what I was curious is kind of where it comes from. Is it a lot just based on your personal experiences as a player and, you know, just drawing from everything, Coach Summit? Or is it something that you kind of see in advance what you need, you know, from a practice or whatever the night before, and you kind of prepare almost, not like a preacher, but, you know, you almost prepare for, okay, we need this at this moment?
I don't think it's that dramatic. I mean, I just talk to them, and sometimes it's something I'm thinking about, and sometimes it's something that I think they need to hear. I talk to them every day. I mean, the most important thing you can do as a coach is tell your players the truth. If you want to be in any type of relationship, the most important thing is to tell people the truth. If you're not authentic with what you're doing, people spot a fake from a mile away. Basketball players are particularly astute at spotting fakes. They know when you're being real with them and when you're not. And I just try to be as real as I can with them about things that are going on or things they may face or concepts that I've struggled with. And I tell my players all the time, like, when I talk about a concept, doesn't mean because I'm awesome at it. It's a lot of times stuff that I struggle with too. And, you know, if I've struggled with it, chances are they have struggled with it or they will struggle with it because their path is my old path, right? I was in their shoes as a player and as a college player entering their conference season or their postseason or the NCAA tournament. I've been where they've been. And the best thing you can do as a leader is, if you've been where they've been, help show them the way so maybe they don't make the same mistakes as you do. And so it comes from that. And then, you know, I can't explain why so many people watch them. You know, I don't know. That's been surprising to me too. But I do get a lot of great messages from people. That's really inspiring and motivating about how the messages have helped them from all over the country, from all walks of life. I had a 75-year-old lady from Montana that's retired tell me that it helps her. She rides. She has a horse. I think she has a lot of horses. I don't know. I couldn't tell from her letter. But she's 75. She lives in Montana. I don't remember her name. I wrote her letter back, though. I answer every letter, you know, with a handwritten note. And she said that she gets on her horse every day. She knows that's her workout. Or she goes out and it's her. And she says that she does that when she saw my one of my speeches. And so I was 8th grade science homework in Fresno, California. They had to watch the speech and write a report on it. I don't know how I felt about that, being homework. You know, I think being homework is probably not the greatest thing. I don't know if those kids are excited about it because it was given as homework. But I get these stories from all over the country from people that it's cool. It inspires me to, I think, just keep putting stuff out there that resonates with people. A lot of coaches, a lot of youth leagues, a lot of high school coaches, a lot of football coaches. So it's been cool to make those connections. And I think everybody that coaches, whatever level you coach, you know, youth league, you coach 5-year-olds, you coach college players, you coach professional athletes. We're all trying to do the best job we can to help our players reach their potential. So there's a lot of shared common goals and things that you look for. And so I'm just a part of that group of people, not better or worse or different than anybody else, but just trying to find ways to motivate my players. Oh, all right. Sounds good.
Anything else for Coach Lawson?
Coach, just speaking about Celeste Taylor, can you just talk about her performance from the beginning of the year to where she is now in her stage?
I think Celeste, you know, I've said this multiple times this year about her, like, she's a non-traditional star on a non-traditional team. And I think people just have a hard time evaluating us as a group. You know, they don't know what to think of us. And a lot of times they don't know what to think of her because we don't follow the traditional metrics for evaluation of how you want to talk about how good someone is or how good a team is. And so I think most people, when they watch us play, they don't really know how to compliment us or evaluate us because they like to talk about all things that we don't do well. And there are a lot of those, but there's a lot of things we do well. I mean, you don't win 25 games without doing a lot well. And she's somebody that I say this a lot about her, she impacts winning. Like, Celeste is most concerned with winning the game. And she's most concerned with doing whatever she can to win the game. And a lot of times that's deflections, that's a block and transition, that's seeing that one of her teammates maybe has played the wrong coverage in an action and covering it up for them, which most people watching will never know that happened. They'll just see that we got to stop, but she's covered something up for someone else. She's doing that stuff all the time, and it has been one of the biggest reasons we've had a lot of success. Is she just is really high IQ and places great value in every possession, especially on the defensive end. And then on the offensive end, she's been consistent for us, probably our most consistent player, on that end that we know we can get scoring from her. She's had some games where she's been a great scorer. She's had some games where she struggled. But she always gives great effort, and you never question that she wants to win. So I think she's one of the best players in the country. And like I said, I just think I'm not blaming anybody. I'm not one of those soapbox coaches that going to rail about what people did get or didn't get. It's a waste of time. But what I will tell you is she wins, and she wins contributes to winning as much as any player in the country. And I'm glad she's on my team.
Coach, just to follow up on that, what challenges does Iona present, and what are keys that you are asking for from your team in order to be successful?
Well, they're a very good offensive team, and so it's going to be a real challenge for us defensively to be able to slow them down. They're very efficient with how they play. Obviously, shoot a great percentage from three. And they're very consistent with what they're looking for and making you pay when you make a mistake. They do a great job of you make a mistake, whether it's poor body position, poor angles, they'll cut you and score. So we have a big challenge on our hands. They've got good experience as well. So I think for us, trying to make things as difficult as we can for them defensively, and then, that's a variety of ways, obviously, with our pressure, hopefully. I mean, you don't know till you get in the game whether pressure is going to bother somebody or not. We hope our pressure can bother them. And we hope, our depth can give us an advantage. But, I tell my team this all the time about depth. Like, it's really cool to have depth on paper. The only way depth works is if everybody plays well. Like, think about it. If you have 10 really good players and 5 of them stink that game, you really only got 5 players. You don't have depth anymore. You just got 5 good players and 5 that stink that day. So really leverage your depth. Your 10 players have to play well. And so, this is obviously they know that. Our players got to play well. If they play well, we like to think our depth could be an advantage for us in any matchup, not just this matchup. But those are things that we've been consistent, I think, all year with doing, and hopefully we can do that again.
I just have one more. Obviously, only one team gets to cut down the nets at the end of the tournament. What does success look like for Duke in this tournament?
I don't do big picture questions. We're just trying to win tomorrow, and I think I don't get caught up in that stuff, to be honest with you. I'm not avoiding your question. I think one of our strengths all year is we've just focused on the next game, and we let everybody else talk about the big picture stuff and who can win and who can't win and who can do all that. We don't worry about it. We talk about trying to stay focused, but success for us tomorrow is to win. And if we can do that, we get a chance to play another day. At the start of the year, I don't think anybody thought the last game of the season we'd be playing for the ACC title. And we didn't go around all year talking about the ACC title. We just went around all year worried about the next game. And then all of a sudden we woke up on the last Sunday of the season and we were playing for it. I'd take that in this tournament. You just got to really focus on your game. And if we don't focus on it, we'll get beat. That's the way March works. And we have to just stay locked into Iona and give our best effort. And hopefully at the end of that game, we'll win it. So I can't tell you what success in March looks like for us, but I can tell you what success looks like for us tomorrow. That buzzer goes off, we win it. I don't care if the score is 27-26 or 87-86. If we win it, it's a success for us.
Thanks, Coach Lawson.
Thank you.